Winter's Night, Part 2. Now I've heard some real bullshit in my time, especially during my time in the contracting field, but this was the most out there shit I've ever heard. Alright, let's just take a big ass step backwards. I need to wrap my head around all this. John laid that shotgun down to his side. I'm telling you the truth, Mason. In the time that you've known me, have I given you any reason for doubt? I looked deep into this man's eyes. When I did, I saw something that told me it was the absolute truth as he knew it. No, you haven't given me any reason to doubt you. But damn, man, this is hard to swallow. I need proof, John. This is the way this works. A look of frustration washed all over his weathered face. Proof? You want proof, huh? Follow me. He started walking towards the trees behind the barn. As we got closer to the trees, I started to smell rusty copper. My brain immediately jumped to blood. John raised his shotgun as we walked closer. That damn shotgun had to be illegal, but this wasn't the time for that. Him raising that gun made me uneasy, so I pulled my Glock out. John owned about 90 acres, most of it unkept. A lot of the land was behind the barn, which butted up to state forest. We took about 12 steps into the woodline when the smell of death hit me like a brick. I'm thinking where I heard that noise coming from last night. Proof is out there, Mason. We walked almost 100 yards into the woods when John stopped in front of a tree. The tree looked twisted and warped all the way to its top. When I stepped around John, I was able to see huge claw marks cut deep all the way around the base of this tree, if you could even call it that. Well, what the hell is this? This is a marker. This territory starts here. I looked at John like he was crazy, which at this point I thought he was. This thing travels throughout these woods. I found 5 more of these trees all around our town. This doesn't tell me anything, John. Just you've got some weird ass trees on your property. You hear that? So we can move this mess forward. I stopped talking and just listened. I hadn't noticed that during our walk in the woods that got quiet. And I mean not one sound. What the hell? Where did all the animals go? They're scared, Mason. You should be too. Let's get back to the house. We turned and started making our way out of the woods. We were almost to the tree line when I heard a snap. I turned around with my gun raised to see a black streak dart back deeper into the woods. What the fuck was that? All John said was, "We need to leave now." We turned and started sprinting the rest of the way out of the woods. I was surprised for how fast John was for a man of his age. We got all the way back to my patrol car. I don't know what that was, but I don't think you should stay here tonight, John. Pack some stuff and come to my place. John just let out a sigh of frustration. You weren't listening to what I told you. The pine forest, these trees, it's all connected, Mason. I'm talking about before this area was even inhabited by native peoples. This fucking thing has been around for a very long time. I've been looking into this since that day. I had to find out what it was and if it could be killed. The whole time John was talking, I had my eyes and weapon pointed at the trees. You can put that down, Mason. I just wanted you to know it's here. John, I need to process this whole situation. I've never seen or heard anything like this. Be straight with you, I'm at a loss right now. I get it. Sheriff Jack was a deputy back then. You see him. Tell him I said the dark is here. And with that, he just turned his back and walked back into his house, not saying another word. At this point, I have a shitload of questions, so I headed back to the station. I must have entered the door with a pure look of puzzlement on my face, because Kathy, the clerk, asked what was wrong with me. I told her I was fine and asked if she had seen the sheriff. Yeah, he was in the gun cage. You sure you're okay, Mason? Yeah, I'm good. I just need to talk to Jack. I started walking towards the back of the building when Jack came around the corner. Hey, Mason, what's up? I just got back from Jack's house. The look on his face completely changed. He had a bunch of animals killed last night. It looked like a slaughterhouse. He told me to tell you the dark was back. Jack stiffened up and, not saying a word, gestured for me to follow him towards the back security door. We head towards the back of the building and out the door. Jack had stopped to make sure the door was secure and then pointed at his truck and said, "Get in." After getting in, he looked over at me and said he needed some coffee. He started the truck up and headed west out of the parking lot towards the coffee shop. He ordered a large black coffee with extra sugar and then asked me if I want one. I'll take a small black, no sugar. We pulled out and headed east back past the station. We ended up driving towards the edge of the county. I looked at Jack and said, "What's going on, and why are we heading way the hell out here?" Jack just took a long sip of his coffee and placed it back in the holder. After a long breath, he said, "You want some answers?" "Well, I want some answers about what happened at John's house, and I'm sure he told you about what else happened." "Well, we're gonna go get you some answers." "Like you, Mason, I'm not from around here either. I was a trooper in New York for a few years before I came down here. I resigned after a call to an old couple's house. My partner Jake and I responded to what we thought was an animal attack. We were the first on the scene, only having been a little over a mile from the house. When we rolled up, an older woman came running over to the cruiser. She had a panicked look on her face and just kept repeating, 'They're dead! They're dead!' We hopped out and sat her in the back of the car, then asked what happened. She said, 'I came over to talk to Gloria and I saw the door open. I walked in yelling her and Alan's name, but they didn't answer. I found them upstairs. It's horrible.' Jake and I drew our weapons and started making our move inside. Like the witness said, the front door was open, so we moved in. We could smell blood, so we started clearing rooms. The first floor was clear, so we made our way up steps. The smell was overpowering now. We cleared the bathroom, and 2 smaller rooms were clear also. The door to the master bedroom was slightly open. Approaching slowly, I pushed the door open. It looked like some movie shit, I kid you not. Jake turned and went back into the hallway and threw up. I stepped in the room and listen, I have never seen anything like this before. These 2 people were splayed out on the bed. Their insides had been yanked out and thrown around the room. As I'm looking at the blood spatter, I noticed these huge claw marks in the wall. I'm talking if Andre the Giant had fucking claws. I stepped back out of the room, then radioed to dispatch that we need more units. I walked back to the front door where Jake was standing hunched over, looking out of it. Parked outside were 3 black SUVs and a black sedan. I counted 11 men dressed in black tactical military gear, some with a type of rifle I had never seen before, but you could tell it was a large caliber. The rest had SMG weapons. I looked towards the patrol car. One of the men had the door open and was talking to the witness. He saw us and started walking over. Again, he was in all black, but only carried what looked like a Desert Eagle in a chest holster. When he got closer, I got a better look at him. He looked to be in his late 40s with salt and pepper colored hair and a big ass scar that ran down the right side of his face. He got about 10 feet from the steps and said, "We appreciate your assistance, but you are no longer needed." As he is saying this, one of the other guys escorts the witness out of our car and into the back of that sedan. The guy started walking away from us when I yelled, "Who are you and what the fuck is going on?" He turned with an annoyed look on his face and then took a few steps towards us. Your command has been informed. You are to leave now." All the while raising his hand towards that holstered pistol. Jake looked at me, shook his head and said, "Fuck it. Let them deal with the mess upstairs." Then started heading towards the car. I started down the steps looking the sky up and down, checking out the vehicles for anything that might indicate who we were dealing with. The only thing I saw was on this asshole uniform. There was a patch on his shoulder. It was an all-black diamond with a weird-looking black M in the middle of it. The guy stared us down until we were in the car driving away. By that point, he had the pistol in his hand. Jake and I didn't say a word until the radio squawked and we were told to head to the barracks. When we got there, we were told to report to the troop commander's office. Commander Thompson was sitting in his office along with a man in a 2-piece suit. The man in the suit stood there quietly while Thompson told us we never responded to any call at that farmhouse and that this was the first and only time he would say it. With that, he dismissed us and walked out. That shit didn't sit well with me. I ended up resigning a few months later. I came down here and then that shit happened in the woods. I was on the scene. I saw the claw marks. They looked just like the ones in New York. And the same damn black truck showed up, albeit with different personnel. At this time, I knew just to shut up and walk away. And after making that choice, I've had a pretty good career here. I had tons of questions. Did he ever find out who the troops were? What happened to the witness or his partner Jake? I was about to ask all of this when he said, "We're here." He pulled off on to this overgrown driveway, drove for about a quarter mile. We pulled up to an old two-story house that looked like it was in ruins, but the lights were on. I asked, "Where the hell are we?" As the last word of that question left my mouth, the front door of the house opened. Standing in the doorway was a black man, dressed in weathered black clothing. Jack leaned over to me and said, "Wanted answers? Well, there they are."